What's up everyone, I'm Redtail and this is the drive home. Tonight we just got finished up at on Swan Street. I wasn't rostered on anywhere else. I was initially going to go to a different place just to see if they needed a bit of a hand, but even after my nap and just some of tonight's events was just like, nope, I've had enough. I'm way too tired for this. I'm just going to go home now. So tonight got damn cold. I mean, the wind in Melbourne, sorry, not the wind, like the temperature / wind will drop at, say, I want to say maybe like 11 o'clock, quarter to 11. That's when it usually will dip. So it started off pretty like all right. That the heaters were on way too early at the place I was working at. They should have been on maybe 11 o'clock. Probably that's when they should have turned them on. Maybe even 10 to have them roaring, but by the time it was like 10:30, it was already done. Then they yeah, so sorry, there's a lot going on with traffic right now. There are just maniacs and roadworks and I just need to be paying attention on it at the moment. Yeah, so the heaters should have been on way earlier, and then the people, oh my god, it was not a full moon, but by god, people were acting like it. So what we ended up having is, I'm trying to even figure it out myself, because I just spent maybe like a good 10 minutes trying to go through with the other two bouncers there, with and what the actual fuck that was about. That was just the nuttiest thing ever. So in essence, from what I gathered from the initial turn of events, what the backstory was, there was a group of girls with, I think they were there initially with some guys, then they like sort of went their own ways, and another group had been following the entire night, like a group of maybe like 9 or 10. They had alleged that they had been following them into each different club they went into, so like up at and I think, and then they came in here, they were trying to come in here, the girls got in and their blokes, no problem, that was fine. These guys started coming in, they apparently told the bouncers at the front door, so apparently they told and then these guys obviously start getting mouthy, you know what, and they're saying, oh no, it hasn't happened, and one thing leads to another, and the guys that were in there with the girls obviously try and be the fucking white knight heroes. And it's shitty because one of the bouncers didn't even have his radio on. He's so far like, oh, I don't even want to do this. It's like, dude, just like why do you even come into work if you don't want to do it then? Just, you're putting everyone else at risk. So I end up being called to because I'm upstairs, so I end up being called to the front door. And then I go and hear over then my supervisor says, yo, can you go and call this guy to the door in regards to this? I was like, sure, no problem, that's fine, I'll go get him. So I have to leave the two guards outnumbered at the front door. And then I have to run upstairs and go and get him. It's like, come on. Then the venue manager turns around and says, why we got 4 here, you go back upstairs, pointing to him. Okay, and it feels, I've worked with this guy before, I just simply cannot remember his name. So he goes back upstairs and these guys just like almost start having it out on for young and old. So the guys that were there with the girls initially get shoved back across the street. So they're like, one of them, the main aggressor from that group, was shoved across the street by his mate, and this other group of 9 just start yapping and calling him across. By this point, I've already got my mouth guard in. My mouth guard was in before I even was down the stairs. I turned to say, which group do you want me to focus on? If need be, I will start taking heads for you. He's like, no, in the group of 9, there was maybe like 3 or 4 of them were actually able to talk. The rest of them were too far gone. So he's like, I just need you to stay here as essentially as assurance that if something kicks off, that you've already got your piece in, your jacket's already off, you're going to throw down. And he was talking to these three guys, and one dude in yellow just comes out of nowhere. And so, like, for have been out of nowhere. So for me, I saw him moving in, so it ended up just not like full on shoving him, but just like hip and shouldering him out of the way in regards to just make it look like I was trying to insert and talk to with that one. So it's not like he went flying or anything. It was just a light hip and shoulder of like, oh, I need to talk to him about the situation that's going on. Thank fuck nothing kicked off there as well, and it didn't help, right? I don't even want to call it stupidity, because it's literally just they're trying to make money. They let an entire footy club in. I'm not sure which one it was. I don't believe it was an AFL one. Otherwise the venue would have been going nuts. I don't even believe it was a VFL one, but an entire football club was having a function upstairs, and it was essentially just 80 dudes. 80 drunk football players to 4 guards, one who doesn't want to be there. That's a recipe for disaster. Thank God they were probably the best behaved group the entire night. They were in, out, quick and easy, no complaints from them, no arguing from them. They were just boop, boop. So that was like the weirdest explanation of that story. The long and short of the night was, it was weird, and it was a bit ugly, but it could have been so much worse. It really could have. Oh, we had a girl OD in the bathroom. She's fine. She's alive, but still, we had to like half near resus her. So I've seen an OD before. That was my first week at work there. We were working on this guy for about an hour and a half before he got taken away, and it's like you knew he wasn't gonna probably last very long, considering when he got picked up by his mum, she had bloody like train tracks. She had tracks on her arms. It's like, oh, that is like the saddest thing ever. But like, we couldn't do anything about it, because once he's outside the door, that's no longer our issue. The reason this became our issue tonight was because, yes, it was outside our door, but it was also like coming back to us again. And in his infinite wisdom, without informing us, he said he took photos of these guys, which we all do. That's fine. It's more for assurance. It's like, hey, you're done for the night. So what we usually do is send the photo up and down the street so the other venues can judge if they're going to let them in or not. Told these guys, it's like, you are done. You are like essentially done from all these other venues tonight. Like, no one else is going to let you in. You're done. And so when they got to these places, they essentially were turned away, and then they came back to us and tried having a go, which is essentially just like, we ended up just shutting the doors. It's like, nope, we're not dealing with this anymore. This has gone too far. Said to, yo, you really crossed the fucking line with that one. If that call needs to be made, like, consult us before you give that call, before you make that set that in stone, right? Because that doesn't fall back necessarily on, that's instantly projected onto the security. And there's a UFC 300. So by the time this video is out, Piero will have won, Jan will have won, Oliveira most likely will have won, Gaethje will have won, because fucking Max Holloway is Max Holloway, and he decides that he's going to pull some weird shit when he doesn't need to. Just stick to the fucking script, Holloway, and you do well. Just what Gaethje does. He sticks to the script and doesn't usually fuck up like you do. The quote-unquote best boxer in the UFC is about to get absolutely decimated. I mean, I had to in regards to the other guy that like didn't have his radio on, I did have to let know about that. He's like, he did confirm with me, he's like, I am under no illusion that he's just here for the money. He's like, he will never do anything if he can help it. It's like, example, when I was going around and clearing the area, saying, hey guys, it's time to go, He was just following me around like a lost puppy. It's like, dude, like, you know how to tell people to close the area. He's like, yeah, I'm just gonna tell them to get the fuck out when it's 12:30. He's like, don't do that. We want them to come back eventually. So he doesn't work there all the time, right? I usually work every Saturday. So it's more like, okay, yes, you work there, but it's also, you're not one of the faces that's always regular reoccurring there. You're not one of the faces of the venue. It's like it crosses the line between, okay, reputation of being a hard ass and also being respected as well. Like, it crosses a line of, like, you got to walk that line of being, like, okay, a hard ass, but not an asshole, but also respected for doing some hard calls. And yeah, some guys that just don't work venues all the time, that just jump around, which is me. I do a lot of jumping around, especially for when I'm going to work the second venue. So I can speak on this one. If you're not a regular there, you stay quiet, you listen to what everyone else has to say in regards to other security guards and venue managers, and you do your best to absorb that information and just stay out of the fucking way. The only time realistically you should be calling in if there's a medical emergency, a fight, or you're just confirming your location or doing a radio check. That is it. But the fact that he didn't even have his radio turned on, I did also let him know that he hasn't, this guy that I'm talking about, he has an issue. Every time he's worked there, always caught him on his phone. It's like, oh, no fucking shit, dude. Like, you're saying you're just standing, like, checking your messages, but you stand there for 5 seconds. It's not like you're quickly whipping it out to check the time, just quickly scroll through it and then put it away. You're standing there for like 5 minutes. I'll admit, tonight I stuffed up in front of a regional, regional venue manager. I looked at my phone in regards to who was fighting on the UFC card, and I had just clocked on. Thank God it was not 9 o'clock yet, so I can be sort of forgiven for that. I was trying to tell this guy, dude, just like, maybe let it go, because he's the venue manager. Like, if you start causing a scene, you're just like, he's gonna go back to our boss, and you're just gonna get put in the boonies of nightclubs. And yeah, I think I was speaking to Ron. He's like, dude, there's no love lost there. I don't really care if he hates you. He's like, well, he has made threats that he's next time you call him out, he's gonna take your head off. So he's like, look, there's no love lost there. He's one of those guys, apparently, I wouldn't know, because as I say, I haven't worked with him enough. I've worked with him a couple of times. Apparently he's a lot of bark, no bite. Yeah, just the shitty politics that's like, I very much try and avoid, but at the same time I can't, because I'm working there. Anyway, that has been me. I am still driving, but that's pretty much it. That was the weirdest, most complicated way I could have explained that story. So essentially, I'll recap it. There were two groups. One group that came in with a couple of girls. The girls were sparking the conflict with this because they said, oh, a certain group kept following them around. And yes, they were, but not to the extent they said they were. So they started the animosity. And the group of guys they were with decided they would be knights in shining armor and start trying to have a go at these guys. We pushed these guys back, the group of 9 that came trying to come in, and then the smaller group went out to try and start punching on with them. We eventually got one group on one side of the road, the other on the other, and told them to fuck off, either walk in different directions, and that was essentially the end of it. There was just a bit of pushing and shoving with that one. But yeah, I should get my roster either later this afternoon or sometime on Monday. Sometime tomorrow then. And then I will know where I'm on. Thank you. My God, the night isn't over. Jesus. Alrighty. Alrighty, well anyway, don't forget to leave a like and a comment. Don't forget to subscribe as well, and I'll see you all in the next video. See ya!